Namaste, angels. This is going to be the annular solar eclipse and new moon in Gemini reading. So the new moon in Gemini occurred at 6:53 this morning. I could have done the reading yesterday. I don't know why I didn't. So don't start me to lying. We're doing it today, but it did occur already this morning. We are starting with the Universal Love Oracle and Divine Guidance. And here's a moon up here. Moon always shows up in my readings. I'm going to shuffle these, and I'll try to simultaneously talk a little bit about what to expect from the new moon. So, there's a lot of stuff in Gemini. Venus just left. Did she leave already? I think she just... Well, she leaves this week. If she hasn't left yet, she leaves this week. Mercury still there. The sun there. The moon there. Right, the eclipse occurring there. And the North Node. So a lot happening in Gemini, but of course, Mercury, our ruler, is retrograde right now too. And so, whereas normally, especially for us Geminis, this is our first house of self, but for everybody, normally, Gemini and the Gemini new moon would help you in like social areas, because Gemini is all about thinking, communication. So it would help you with those things. And because Mercury is retrograde right now, it probably still help with those things, but in a more inward way. So, like more self-expression and self-discipline, and maybe even self-communication. Communicating with yourself and. Developing and working on the relationship with yourself. Could also bring up things from the past, even though it's a new moon, again, because Mercury is retrograde. Our overall energy from this deck, by the way, is celebration. So it's a positive thing. Happy stuff is happening. And look, two like Pentecostal doves back to back. We got one here with the celebration and one here with birth. So this is celebrating newness and new things that are coming to us. The next card is love. It is in reverse, but that could be one of the new things that's coming. If we're already in a relationship, it could be new aspects, new, more positive aspects worthy of celebration, or a new step that we're taking, like engagement or commitment or marriage. June is the most popular month for marriages. It's also Pride Month, so you have a lot going on in terms of celebration. With regard to that, not just with, birthdays and stuff like I'm doing. What was I saying? Oh, so it's our first house of self. And, but for everybody, it would be helping you with this social expression. So I think it'd be more inward. And also because Mercury rules the nervous system and siblings. Those things that you're focusing on in the past, and those traumas that you may heal during this period from your past may very well have to do with your siblings, or maybe your parents, whom you share with your siblings. So there's that connection, and or like your nervous system, and maybe not in a direct physical way, like I'm focused on my, my stomach or whatever, or I'm focused on, in the butterflies that I have in it, or I'm focused on, the agita in my chest, but something that gave you anxiety or something that caused a fear or trauma, you may be dealing with that, healing that over this period. And it's interesting that we come to Purgatory, or that we're starting with Purgatory with this deck. This is the Magdalena deck, as in Mary Magdalene. And the card that is our like overall energy thus far, before I shuffle these cards in front of you, is Purgatory. And Purgatory is a place where souls in limbo are sent, right? They are said to be sent. Where there's like a decision like, oh, this person's not so bad. Yeah, they got some sins. There's venial sins and mortal sins. Okay, so I'm going all the way back into my Catholic school days now. Venial sins and mortal sins. The venial sins are like white lies, right? And white lies. And or the equivalent of that. And the mortal sins are like things like, you know, murder and stuff like that. That for which people can be forgiven, but if you haven't sought forgiveness and then you die, it's on your soul. Is what I was taught, at least. I'm not saying that this is, you know, the Bible. Although it comes from the Bible. So if you're said to not be so bad. Now, this goes back to Egyptian and Sumerian practice too, though, right? That's what Ma'at is all about. She weighs the souls to see how much sins they have on them. If there's a whole bunch, you got to go, you know, one place. If it's not so much, you got to go to another. You know, that's said to be a better place, more like a paradise. So that's the same thing. It's the same thing on which heaven is based. And heaven is said to be broken up into many different, it's like a big department store, whole bunch of floors. If you take it from the book of Daniel, he describes like all the different levels and floors of heaven. Speaking of Egyptian, our new overall energy is this Ankh and Tree of Life, a card called Miracles. And judgment behind it. Wow. Very interesting, having begun with purgatory. So purgatory is when you're in this place in between while, you know, God is said to be deciding, or Ma'at is said to be deciding what's going to happen with you. In the book, in the tarot, in these cards, in this oracle deck, the author's intention with that card is for it to describe a time when you are going through some sort of healing. And it may specifically be focused on self-discipline, and, you know, like doing a self-assessment and stuff, and like healing areas that you discover about yourself need work. That's why it's funny, because, you know, that's what I was describing the Gemini new moon is all about. Hostilities. I think this was in reverse, actually. Yes, it was in reverse. So I trust me, it was in reverse. I promise you. And hostilities in reverse. You want it in reverse rather than upright. Hostilities in reverse means like difficulties and things that you've been going through coming to an end. Like the hostilities that you've been dealing with are coming to an end. You're beginning to work your way through them. Now, it means also the universe is going to help you through them. But there may be still some action required on your part. Like, this will happen, right? Because for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So now I'm going into my biology major section of my brain. And so there will be a reaction from the universe. And they have one in mind for you. It's like two paths, and you can choose. If you take the action that you need to take on your part, then one thing will happen. If there's inaction on your part, then another thing will happen. Okay? But in both cases, hostilities are coming to an end, dwindling down. The difficulties that you've been dealing with are easing as something is healed within or about you. And then the next card is also in reverse, and it's cornucopia. And this is funny too, because this card is another one that is about healing self when in reverse. So it's very interesting. The next card after that is upright, is indecision. But it could come into play with these two. Because like I said, you may have to decide whether or not to take some sort of action. And that decision could, you know, mean the difference between you going through door to spirit or not. And as I say that, we open to Healer of the Ages. So a lot of like God and Jesus, Pentecostal dove, Ankh, in this reading so far. Very interesting to me. Purgatory, judgment. It was upright. I flipped it over. I'm going to cut anyway. What am I talking about? That next card, I don't know if you noticed, because I didn't focus on it, but I just saw it like out of my peripheral vision. It was called Action, and it was one with these horses on it. Let's put this here. And there's the indecision, now in reverse as our overall energy. The next deck I'm shuffling is the Ascended Master deck. Again, beginning with Jesus and open your heart to love. The next card behind that is also upright. It is trust. So those two can definitely be working, in tandem. Trust yourself, trust person that maybe you have in mind, in terms of opening your heart to love. Maybe trusting Jesus or God or in whatever it is you believe, also. We have Follow Your Heart with St. Francis. Follow your heart. Peace Offering, White Buffalo Calf Woman. I should have quit while I was ahead. So this is always about somebody's passing when I see it in my readings, but it also has meaning in terms of, a more literal sense. In peace offering, maybe in quelling some sort of hostilities, there will be some sort of peace offering. One person or the other will reach out. Now, speaking of passings, so my father passed away recently. And before he did, it's around the time of the other eclipse. The eclipses, people always pass with the eclipses, in my observation. During eclipse season. But what I was going to say was, around the reading that I had done around that time, I remember the strength card was like the crowning card. I hadn't done a spread like my square of 9 in a long time. But that week I decided to do one after I did the other spreads. And the crowning card was the strength card. I remember saying that what was happening, and I saw the white buffalo that time too, might involve a Leo. So my father was a Leo. Paul Mooney also passed at the same time as my dad. Paul Mooney was a Leo. And now this week, the actor Clarence Williams III you guys got to be my age or older to remember some of the stuff that he's been in, but probably more popular as you get younger. Tales from the Hood. He was in this movie called Sugar Hill for people from New York or Harlem, like myself. May be familiar with that one. He's been in a lot of stuff. He was just a really, really good actor. But I mentioned this to say he was a Leo. And so it got me to thinking, because there's been previous times when I've seen other deaths, and like one time I saw it was going to be Virgos. One time I saw it was going to be Capricorns. I think when I saw the Virgos, another one of my viewers lost her father. And then when I saw the Capricorns, another one lost her father. He went into the hospital and didn't come out. It just helped me to notice that there also seems to be like periods of time when certain people are called home, as they say. In any case, our overall energy for this deck is Work Your Magic and Saint Germain. Behind it is Mother, Wife, Sister, Daughter in reverse. Numerology deck, we have self-discipline. This didn't even click. I remember I shuffled these cards, so I didn't really pay any mind. And it definitely didn't click. The self-discipline was what we were beginning with. So yeah, I think this is just another confirmation, a reconfirmation that this is the overall theme that we'll be dealing with over the next couple weeks. And then effort, like you taking action or not. And the next card is in reverse. It is adventure. And I opened right to self-discipline again after throwing it into the deck. Change, perseverance. So what else was interesting? I'm going to go into detail because I got to look at my computer, my notes. Y'all know I never write anything down. Karma completion. which is definitely happening. I mean, new moons, new things begin, but something has to end in order for something to begin. And we are also, with the eclipse, releasing things that no longer serve us. So things that no longer serve us are being released. Things and people also who've done their job, serve their purpose, are exiting our lives. And it could feel bad. It could feel traumatic. It could feel hurtful. It could feel like something that has to heal. But it is a positive thing. So like from it is growing, is from where the newness is coming. So I'll go after the cards. I'll look at my, I guess we're meant to start. I was going to say, let me do that again because I picked up the karmic completion at the top again, but maybe it was meant to happen that way because it was not intentional. I usually do, after the reading, I'll go to my computer, what else is occurring on the planetary calendar during the period. But of course, one of the things that I remember is that with the with this moon, this new moon, and this eclipse, both Mercury and the sun, I think, are at, was it Mercury and the sun both at 19 degrees? Gemini. No, the sun and the moon are aligned at 19 degrees Gemini. That's what it is. And Mercury, Gemini's ruler, is at 20 degrees Gemini, because it's also located in Gemini currently, retrograde. So of course 20 equals 11, 19 is what it is, it's 19. Together they are an 11-19 transposed. What else was interesting about it? I don't remember, but it's giving father. You know what I mean? So we'll see what comes up. We're starting with the Ace of Cups with this deck. Very nice. Falling in love with the resurgence of a relationship, spiritual growth and enhanced intuition, maybe even a new home. So newness. Something emotionally fulfilling, not just new, but it makes us feel good when it comes, when the new things come. Followed by the King of Cups. This is getting really interesting. The King of Cups is warm-hearted, devoted, loving, and faithful. A trustworthy person or relationship enters your life. You may receive a wise and compassionate advice from someone who speaks directly from the heart. The King of Cups, of course, may be a direct water sign, a Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces, or someone likened to those traits or attributes, maybe male specifically, that will be particularly significant to you over this period. Now, most directly in the tarot, traditional tarot practice, the king is the Pisces. The Pisces is the one that represents the moon in the tarot also. So that may be why this is showing up, Pisces and Neptune. The Queen is also here. The Ace, the King, the Queen of Cups. I mean, this is so far very good. Very positive energy. The Queen, most directly in traditional tarot practice, represents the sign of Scorpio, but like the King, can be a Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. That's not a water sign at all. The Queen of Cups is compassionate, loving, giving, and psychic. This is the time of deep emotions and heightened intuition that you can trust completely. Be mindful that you don't ignore your own needs while caring for others. Then we have Major Arcana card 8 here in the middle. This may have to do again with the balance, our good versus bad, the weight of our soul. Fair decisions will be made after all of the evidence is reviewed impartially. Have compassion for others and try to see all sides of a disagreement. This could be about getting your affairs in order, is what I'm receiving. Not like you're going to die. I'm not saying like that. But living your life as if you were going to, and so those things that we have on our soul that we could use, this maybe come into play with the self assessment, those things that we have on there that we, would like to have cleared away, start with a blank slate, maybe seeking some forgiveness, maybe extending some forgiveness, maybe releasing something, that we've been holding on to, some sort of negative emotion, to lighten ourselves. Major Arcana card Justice represents the planet Venus, ruler of the sign of Libra, represents the sign of Libra also. Venus, like I said, either moves this week or has moved already this week into Cancer. So could be tied to the King and or Queen of Cups. And now also the Page of Cups. The Page of Cups is sensitive, kind, open-hearted, and inexperienced. You can expect to kindle a new romantic relationship or a close platonic friendship. You may suddenly receive an emotional message from someone or be invited to a social event. And then we have the Tower. So this could be a tower of emotions. Maybe because you, again, reunite with someone, make up with someone, release something, you're just feeling lighter, you're just feeling happier. It could be tied to a revelation that you have. Maybe it's part of the self-assessment. Aha, I know what I have to do now. And then it's showing up as Tower. Or somebody could experience something more physical tied to the energy of Tower. Maybe even something like a new home. Or change to your home. Something involving a structure, a building. Then we have the Sirens as I'm talking about this. There could be something, that's an emergency that leads to something positive. Maybe somebody has a baby. That could happen too this week. Over the next couple weeks. And that may be cause for celebration. That reminds me of these two cards. Celebration and birth. So yeah, that could be happening too. Or becoming pregnant and learning that you're pregnant this week. Which could also be tied to Venus as she is the Empress. All right. I've also been, as some of you know, getting things about pets. New pets coming into your life, also pets passing away. I've talked about it in some of the readings. And sure enough, some of you told me you got a new pet. I was one of the people that kind of got a new pet because I told you my ex had to bring his dog with him when he came here. And then my son's girlfriend had to put her dog down. A friend of mine had to put her dog down last night. Clients of mine in India are worried about their dog. I've been praying for their dog, but their dog is 15 years old too, I think they said. So that could also be tied to the white buffalo calf woman as well. It doesn't have to be like, a person. But again, this is more so a positive reading, and all these cards that we've ended up with that we're going to get into in a second, positive. Our overall energy from these decks is the Nine of Cups. So now we've seen the Ace, the King, the Queen, the Page, and the Nine now of Cups. Your wish comes true, concerns fade away, your love of life. So again, something improves, something gets better. Right now I just got to pick which decks I'm going to start with. I think for the first spread, I'm going to do these, and these. What do you guys think? As if you can answer me. From the perspective of the universe. Oh, wait. The Ascended Master ones. They would be good here, too. All right, let's do these. these and these and save these for love. I just like to do these because then we have the potential for, you know, when the characters like to show up, the people. And we have the potential for the people to show up 2 times over because there's 2 decks here. So the first card that has fallen away that I'll now throw here in the middle somewhere is the 5 of Swords. Your current path isn't leading you toward the happiest possible outcome. So why not change it? Always maintain integrity and compassion, but be alert to the hidden agendas of others. And especially now when I was talking about problems with communication and stuff because of Mercury retrograde, this can be like gossiping. This can be like, you know, somebody calling you out your name, something on the internet about somebody, you know, maybe being exposed, revealed, canceled, but it's not cool. You know, like it can get you not in trouble, but it can, you know, it's not necessarily good for your karma to be participating in something, you know, like against somebody else, judgment against somebody else, because what goes around comes around. We all get measured, right? We all get our souls weighed. Remember that. I'll throw that in there. You know what? I just opened it up. Can I find the spot? Yeah. I threw it right on top of the 6 of Swords, which is about things getting better. So that's super positive. And behind the 6 of Swords was the Dreamer, which has always, ever since I got these decks, and I've had more than one of this same deck, I just keep buying them over and over and over again, you know, and then I like use them until they can't be used anymore, and then I buy another one. This card has always represented the planet Mercury for me, and therefore the signs of Gemini and Virgo, which Mercury rules. And it's actually the Fool in the traditional tarot, the Dreamer. And it has Metatron on it, who is, you know, the leader of all light workers. We had a nice experience with Metatron in the general and love readings this week. Not just Metatron, but the 4 holy angels as well, that Metatron, or Enoch, before he became Metatron, speaks of in his in the book of Enoch. A leap of faith. Follow your dreams, because that leads to unexpected opportunities. That's what the Fool has to say. But yeah, I put it right there on top of the 6 of Swords. Here's the 5 of Swords. So let's go around the table with the 3 of these decks, or the 4 of these decks rather. Divine being or couple. Some people like to look at what it has to say for what the spread has to say about their relationship as opposed to them as an individual, and that's fine with me. Recent past, near future. Interesting that they're all from the same deck. I mean, you guys saw me like shuffle them and all that kind of stuff. Divine masculine. And here comes the other deck. Blocks to individual or shared progress. What the feminine can do to help herself, like about the block. What the masculine can do to help himself. What the universe would have us each archetype, masculine and feminine, to do to help themselves, and what the universe actually wants to help us with, you know, if we'll allow it to. We have free will, though. We don't have to allow it to. But if we will, it wants to help us with this thing. And then this is the outcome, or, you know, I'm going to do 2 outcomes. What new is happening? And what is coming to an end, right, by the next major moon cycle, which would be the full moon in Capricorn, I believe. So that's this deck, again, with an overall energy of the 9 of Cups. Now the Ascended Master deck with an overall energy of Work Your Magic and Saint Germain. Saint Germain and his wife, Lady Portia, which is like the equivalent of Venus / Justice or Ma'at. Guardians of the 7th Ray, or the Violet Ray. I think that's important for us. Get out the toilet! That will be my daughter yelling at the dog. And last but not least, the energy deck. Same thing, divine being or couple, recent past, near future, masculine higher self, blocks the individual or shared progress, what the feminine can do to help herself, what the masculine can, what the universe wants to help us to do to help ourselves, what new thing is coming, what is coming to an end. And both of these would be by the full moon in Capricorn. And as a reminder, the overall energy here is indecision. I believe it was supposed to be in reverse, actually. Indecision in reverse. And indecision in reverse, by the way, I don't think I ever said it, is about like a newfound freedom. So this is similar to like letting go of the hostilities or the hostilities, leaving us, well enough alone. And just a bit being freed up to make, or possibly we recently already made an important decision. If we haven't already made it, like we're being freed up to make an important decision, and or this is an important time, like to sort of get clarity, a new direction. This could be tied to maybe the tower that we saw before, and any like confused energy that we've been experiencing or sending out, all of that gone or leaving. And then now we can bring like, we can make new plans and stuff like that. All right, so these should be the general energies, but love could pop up here too. Divine being or couple. 10 of Swords is the card we're starting with. So this is another card that says that like our difficulties coming to an end. It's another reconfirmation of that. The end of a career path, project, or relationship brings feelings of mixed joy and sadness, relief and disappointment. Put aside your fears about these changes and trust that a brighter future awaits. So this is guiding you to go ahead and let whatever is trying to leave, let it go. And don't try to hold on to it. Then we have Teacher also showing up. Teacher gives me Hierophant, but also Hermit. So earth energy, and it can be about that self-discipline, that self-assessment. I've said many times, like when the hermit shows up, that it's about introspection, and sometimes it does represent a teacher or a lawyer or something for me. And then, sometimes not so literal, it can be about you being both like the teacher and the student, because you're learning about you. And last but not least, we have Deceit, which is kind of interesting. We could perhaps have been lying to ourselves about something, or be lying to ourselves about something now. Maybe about the fact that something is ending. We're trying to hold on to it. Again, anything that's trying to come to an end, we're to allow it to let it go. If it's not about us lying to ourselves, then this card is coming to us as a warning that there's some sort of deceit in our lives. And then maybe we have to look at the 10 of Swords in a different way. Because, the 10 of Swords can, in the Rider-Waite, it's this guy laying flat on his face, right? With 10 daggers in his back. It's about betrayal and separation and, deceit, lying, all that kind of stuff. So for somebody, it can be about that too. Recent past, what do we have? The High Priestess. So intuitive thoughts and understanding, wisdom and stuff. Kuan Yin and Let It Go. So it's another, because the High Priestess is like a representation of mother. And so is this. This is like more mother energy. And then we have the third chakra and Archangel Chamuel. Now, Archangel Chamuel, let's consider what else he's about. What else he represents. He's the Archangel of lost things. And he's also the Archangel of like love and relationships, but not like marriage. Daniel is the Archangel of marriage, but just like in general, like love. That would be Chamuel. Also money. So we have Let It Go and we have High Priestess. And we have Solar Plexus. Solar Plexus is where we feel things, right? We talked about, like, some people believe the soul is actually located here. We've been talking a lot about like the soul and purgatory and judgment and God. This is where you, if something is positive and you're excited about it, you might feel butterflies. Or if something is not necessarily good, it's giving you a bad feeling, right? You're the high priestess. So you're tuned in. Maybe you're getting a sinking feeling in your stomach, right? It feels like the bottom's going to fall out of your stomach. Or you're getting like a stomach ache, or getting gas, it's rumbling because something's off, something's not right. Whatever the case is, we're guided to let anything that's not serving us go. And we're receiving guidance as to what those things are. We're receiving intuitive messages as to what we should pursue and what we should let go. High Priestess, also Gemini energy and or water sign. But of course, this is the Gemini full moon. So, I mean, a new moon rather. So it probably is representative of Gemini, and it is Major Arcana card 2, and in the Rider-Waite deck, of course, Roman numeral 2, which is represents the sign of the Gemini zodiac, the sign of the twins. What is in the near future coming? We have Queen of Cups. I'm sorry, Pentacles rather. Thoughtful, caring, creative, and ingenious. You'll be given advice that's both practical and creative, and it should be followed precisely. So this High Priestess giving you like really precision type guidance. Should be followed precisely. Focus only upon the positive in every situation or person. And then speaking of like earth energy, we have Isis and balanced career and home life. So it's very Two of Pentacles, because when we're doing that juggling, it's like the Two of Pentacles, like spending all your time working and not, going out and catering or catering to your relationships and your love life, your family. You have to figure that out. That's like Two of Pentacles, but Isis shows up so we can avoid that. And then we have Daughter of Romance, Major Arcana card 33 in this placement. This card was in this placement in the last moon reading I did as well, in terms of near future. Look at the one that I didn't even entitle it like moon reading. I think I said like this reading was worth the wait or something because it was late. But check that reading out. You'll see this card, number 33, falling in this exact placement. So I think here in combination with these particular cards, it's saying if you prepare a space, you prepare your home or your environment, a space, and you give love and nurturing to all of the different aspects of your life, that's going to create a door for love to be able to come in. I had a friend that when she removed like her ex-husband's stuff from her house was when the guy came in. It's that sort of thing that I'm getting here. Masculine higher self. Speaking of Gemini, the Page of Swords, logical, truthful, curious, and undiplomatic. This is an intellectual challenge that calls upon your ability to think of a matching solution. If helpful information is put to you bluntly, accept the message without being bothered by the messenger. The Page of Swords is a Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. Speaking of Aquarius, right? Aquarius is the sign of freedom, humanitarianism, and we do have freedom showing up here. So this is what the masculine's mind is on. And what did I say about this placement here? I talked about the freedom and sort of there being a choice. Was it here too? No, not here. It was just here. With the Let It Go, with the Archangel Chamuel. Maybe it was here as well. No. But I just spoke about freedom. Deceit was in reverse. That's what it was. Right? And I said, like, congratulations, you're freeing yourself from this. In any case, here we have Daughter Romance in the near future, and crowning like this area here for the masculine, we have Man Holding a Heart. So this card is about maybe somebody new, maybe a new man specifically in your life in a romantic way, and or somebody who is showing you kindness, somebody who is maybe romantic, very genuine and empathetic and caring and nurturing. They may help you through an emotional situation or something if they're not being romantic toward you. Help you get through something. Blocks to individual or shared progress. We have the Ten of Wands. Too much work. It's crossing Isis and the balance of home life. So for some of us, we're not doing a good job of balancing, and this shows up to warn us of that. Too much work. Accept help from others. Life is out of balance, and that causes stress-related health concerns. Meditate. So this is a block. I mean, like, we're not doing this. We're not finding our center and peace. Again, we're stressed out, some of us, and that's a block. And then also we have sixth chakra and Archangel Metatron. The sixth chakra is the third eye chakra. If this is blocked because we're not meditating, we're not, finding a center, we're not finding peace, we're not able to receive messages, yeah, that's problematic. All right, so what can we do about it? Specifically the feminine, what can she do about it? We have the Seven of Wands. Defend your beliefs and decisions. Stand your ground, but choose your battles wisely. We have Purification and White Tara, which is about like things like energy healing, cleansing, meditation. It can be about making even dehydration and stuff, making sure you drink enough water when you're going through like an ascension period. You definitely can become dehydrated, maybe not even realize it. We must remain hydrated and drink a lot of water when going through that. And now that Cornucopia card is back, and it is upright this time. And this can be about wish fulfillment, similar to the Nine of Cups. It's our overall energy. It's going to be about like all kinds of abundance that's wanting to come to you now. Maybe because of a period of ascension or growth. And your ability to stand your ground and to not like give in to somebody else. Like if you don't waver, that may be what the feminine has to do. Like avoid wavering, avoid giving in. And if you can like represent what it is you want and believe in, like you're claiming your freedom and you're not afraid to not follow the crowd and what everybody else is doing, it can benefit in like an abundance coming to you. What the masculine can do to help himself, it's wands also. All of these answers, the problem was in the suit of wands, and now the answers of what we can do to combat them. Also in the suit of wands, we have the King of Wands, motivational, idealistic, ambitious, and charismatic. Focus, focus, focus. Communicate with vision and be a leader. Take advice from someone creative. We have that joining the peace offering white buffalo calf woman. So for one thing, this can be about, again, some sort of peace offering, some sort of, taking the initiative to reach out. And on the other hand, we have, I can't avoid it, this card representing, death coming. I would have to say for a male and or masculine, and maybe a fire sign. Now, I just talked about earlier in the reading, I talked about how it's been Leos, including my own dad. The King of Wands, most directly in the traditional tarot, represents the sign of Sagittarius, but of course can also be a Leo, an Aries, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. And then we have it joining community. Let me think about this for a second. Community, how does that fit in? Did I put the card up right? I feel like it was supposed to be in reverse. And in reverse, it would make a lot of sense, actually, because joining the peace offering, because it can be in reverse. This card, community, can be about loss and grief. And I'm not saying that because it's convenient for it to be in reverse for me, because then it makes sense. I really feel like it was in reverse, and I laid it down upright. In any case, it can also be about, if it's not about like loss and grief, it also can be about like feelings of loneliness and isolation, some sort of disconnect. So maybe you are disconnected from The divine masculine may be disconnected from another masculine energy in his life or from his self. Remember the self-assessment. Remember the self-discipline, the need to check in with self. That King of Wands is the quintessential divine masculine of the tarot. It can be about you. You may need to make a peace offering toward you, and like self-nurturing, self-care, self-discipline, self-assessment, all those things. That could be what Gemini is guiding you to do. Meditation, maybe different kinds of like connecting and networking with other people if you're feeling lonely. That's communication. That's the Gemini energy I was talking about in the beginning. Like, you don't need to necessarily let isolation continue, particularly if it's making you unhappy. Like, just like, don't do it. What can you do to help yourself? Not that. Does that make sense? I hope so. What the universe wants to help us with. So what the universe would have us to do to help ourselves with these blocks and wants to help us with. We got the Queen of Swords. Okay, she is no nonsense. She is independent, experienced, realistic, and witty, objective decision-making, clearing away all that no longer serves you, and seeing the humor in the situation. You guys see how I always like laugh at stuff. And she's saying here, nurture yourself. That's how you can help yourself, is by nurturing yourself, is Mary. And, you know, she's basically a queen of air. We just celebrated, or we just celebrated Mary last week. Not the queenship, but it was like one of these things, like mother of the church. I talked about it in the general. And then we have Our Lady of Fatima is on my birthday, 6/13. And then she's got several June rather, celebrations. She's all like Queen of Air. Anyway, she's all about nurturing yourself. Same thing that Isis was talking about, in a different way. Right? And the Queen of Pentacles talks about. Queen of Pentacles is all about nurturing too. And they say that is the door to romance. And last but not least, we have attachment in reverse, joining the Queen of Swords, which to me is perfect, and nurture yourself. And I said it's perfect for the Queen of Swords because what is she? The queen of letting crap go. The queen of not holding on to people, places, and things that are no longer serving her. If she's done, she's done. And that's the end of it. And that's what the attachment in reverse is about. It's about like releasing old patterns, relationships, situations, you know, just things that are not working for you, that are doing you harm, they're gone. And you can do that if you're the Queen of Swords. Queen of Swords, of course, also a Gemini, like this moon energy, Libra or Aquarius, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. So what new is coming by the new moon? And we have the Four of Swords. Time to rest or take a vacation. Allow more time before making a decision. Meditation may provide answers. So this for me represents like the planning stages of a vacation, or a decision. Sometimes, again, it can be about meditation. It's about restoration, recovery. So even when something was bad before, maybe it was Three of Swords, it's better now. Something is improving. You've moved up. You've like graduated to the Four of Swords. And then you have Jesus saying, open your heart to love. So like maybe you were closed off because of a Three of Swords, some sort of pain, hurt that came your way. And now Jesus says, okay, we're moving up, we're healing, we're recovering. Here's the proof. And now what I'm guiding you to do is to open your heart to love. And then we have this joined by the World in reverse, which can be about being like emotionally closed off, or what's the other, what am I trying to think of? Like, what's like the opposite of meditation? Because this could be about meditation and thinking. Like having limited thinking, closed off thinking. Let's look at the card and see if it gives us any ideas. So yeah, this is like emotionally like being blocked off. So then we have Jesus saying the opposite. How can you fix yourself? Open your heart to love. And then with the World in reverse, we have this guy that looks like the world is his, right? The world is his oyster, as they say. It's just like one person and all these tall buildings, but he's taller than the buildings. He's almost as big as the world, but he's in reverse. And the card is sort of like limiting yourself, like painting yourself. So as big as he is, huge as he is, and maybe as huge as we are, we're really just, the way we describe ourselves, or the way we end up painting ourselves like into a corner, we end up just like tiny and unable to express ourselves and things like, or afraid to. So this is about that, like limited thinking, limiting your own abilities and things. So here comes the self-assessment and stuff, that theme again. And this is what's going to be new in time for the full moon. So full moons, you release stuff, you let go of stuff. This will be what we're ready to let go of. Like this will have come up new by then. And we'll be ready to say, like I'm done like limiting myself. The world is my oyster. So I'm going to do this. And then what we'll be releasing simultaneously at that time, we have the Six of Pentacles, which is a super positive card. Gifts of money, time, or effort, new career opportunities, and receiving a loan or paying off debts. And we have like more Venus, at least for me. I see like all of her signs here. This is definitely Libra, right? The scales of balance or justice, depending upon how you look at them. And then we have all this earth here that is Taurus. And then you see all the like white, it looks kind of like crazy. It's kind of scattered. To me, that's Gemini. So it's all the signs that that Venus rules rather. If this is something that we're letting go of, maybe we're letting go of the inability to balance, to find or seek or create balance in our lives, and or to give and or receive. Sometimes one of those at least is tough to do. Having trouble with equity and equality, that could be what we're releasing. And then the next card is come out of the closet. So this could be about us, again, limiting ourselves, painting ourselves into a corner, or in this case, a closet. And so we need this sort of equity and equality. We need to feel like we're worthy and equal to other people, that we can come out. That's Amaterasu. And then last but not least, we have the Temple Path, but it was in reverse. The Temple Path in reverse. It can be about what I was talking about, like equity and worth and deservingness and equality and all those kind of things. It can also be about falling off your path. I don't really necessarily see that in these cards, but even if it is about that for some people, like, having deviated off your path, this is the placement that's representing endings in time for the full moon. So maybe you will, anybody that's experiencing that, where they feel like they've gone off path, you would have found your way by the Capricorn full moon. Maybe that's why there's so much earth here too, with the exception of the closet, of course. There's no earth there. But look at this card, the Temple Path. I just see so much green and earth. And then the same thing with the Six of Pentacles. So I think that's what it's trying to tell us here. And now I also do the spread from the masculine perspective. So these will bring back And speaking of Capricorn and Earth energy, the new overall energy is Major Arcana card 15, Ego, or the Devil, which does represent the sign of Capricorn, the planet Saturn. You may feel that you're trapped in your situation, but that's not true. Be careful not to overly focus on material wealth and break free of negative thinking. So that's for those decks. And then we have these that we've already shuffled and have not used. Okay, for love. So maybe we'll do advice with these, and we'll do the spread with these. Divine Feminine, the masculine as it relates to the feminine, to himself, and the union or connection as a whole. Again, with the same deck, only one deck over and over, all the cards. Overall, what energy the masculine would have the feminine give to the union or connection if it were up to him, what he himself is willing to give, what the universe wants to help us with, and the outcome or what we can expect to change again in time for the next major moon cycle, which again is the Capricorn full moon. I'm pretty sure of it. Because the last one was Sagittarius, right? So the next one has to be Capricorn. And we'll do the same thing with these. Again, this is from the perspective of love, specifically relationship. Okay, Divine Feminine. We have the Ten of Wands. So, like, we have to let go of what it is we're holding on to as well. We could be holding on to baggage and things, or fear, or, you know, regret, resentment, all kinds of things that we could possibly be holding on to with regard to love and relationship. Not necessarily a particular partner, but love and relationship in general, maybe from past relationships and stuff. And it's not doing us any good. In fact, it could even be hurting us. Ten of Wands, too much work, accept help from others. Life is out of balance, and that can cause stress-related health concerns. And then we have card number 44, which guides us to do something about our environment, to change our environment. What did the last spread say? Near future, we need to go Queen of Pentacles. We need to work on our environment. We need to go door to romance, right? Like, so opening up our heart, like, or the Queen of Pentacles. Working on our environment can lead us to the door of romance, or in this case, miracles. The masculine as it relates to the feminine, and these cards here, we have the Ace of Wands. What comes after the 10? It is the Ace, or the 11. So this is totally in relation to this. But what's he holding on to? Pride, another negative emotion. This is something that has to be let go of if he wants to be able to reach out or to even be responsive to her. Then we have Moon Tree, which is like the epitome of sacred union. It represents the sacred union between, you know, of course, two loving human beings, even if they're having difficulty and letting negative emotions get in their way, but also even the sacred union between like heaven and earth. So we get back into that, perhaps thinking about things like purgatory and limbo and life and what it means to be alive and what it means, you know, to make good use of that time. Because I talked about that. I don't remember what brought it up, but I talked about that in the general reading. Like not wasting time. Oh, it was a movie. It wasn't even a good movie that I saw, but I was like guided to watch this movie. It was called Flight 7500. And it was really about, there were several things. It was about many things. But one of the things that it was about was like not wasting life. Like every minute we should be, you know, living life to our fullest. And we really should be. We shouldn't be wasting time in terms of love. Like there was this couple, for example, not to give the bad movie away in case somebody wants to watch it, but one of the stewardesses on this flight was dating the captain, and the captain was married. Um, and she had like a revelation basically and just walked up to him and said like, I know you're never going to leave your wife. But she didn't want to waste 1 minute. She was still willing to be in this relationship to him with him, that she was in, because, you know, it's life. And even if people think negatively about it, even if people think that that's bad, like how could she, he's married, you know, like when you die, it doesn't matter anymore. Like nothing, almost nothing matters when we die. You know, nobody's going to be like, oh, well, she was dating that guy and he was married. Like, who cares at that point? And so that was one of the major themes, like living life till its fullest. And definitely letting go of things like this to make way for things like this. Like, this is so much more important than your pride. If you have to look like a sucker for a minute to let somebody know how much you care about them, how you really feel about them, it's worth it. Masculine's relates to himself. 6 of Cups. So it could be like a soulmate, somebody from your past, an ex that you're wanting to become involved with, memories from your history or childhood, issues regarding children, and romanticizing the past. We have this green or earth energy showing up yet again. And then we also have the mystic. And I think actually Saturn, ruler of the sign of Capricorn, is currently located in Aquarius, if I'm not mistaken. This card is very Aquarius to me. So I think this is what this is giving me. And that Saturn retrograde, I talked about it last week. I said it can really, I feel like it's going to really have a huge impact on our lives. Like either it's going to be a real drag for some of us, and we're just going to be experiencing negativity, or it's going to, like our luck is going to change and it's just going to be like we're on a roll. And for the most part, I think it's going to be about being on a roll and persevering, right? Succeeding above all else, like victory and of all this stuff. Because we've experienced the negative stuff already. We've experienced the losses and the sadness and the grief and the separation and the breakups and, you know, the dark night of the soul, all that kind of stuff. We've been through that already. So I think now is our time to win. I literally do. Like I've shared it with, I've talked about it on this show. Like I feel like I win something every day. Like every day there's some sort of success or like really awesome thing that happens to me or in my life. And I like to recognize it. And I don't like to recognize or point out the negative stuff that happens. You know, I don't like to give that any more energy than it already has. Masculine on the union or connection as a whole. And that's 3 of Swords. There's some sadness there. Maybe about separation or about past relationships and the way things turned out in different situations. Maybe about lack of communication. This is the theme of air or swords, right? So it could be tied to Mercury. Great sadness. Take time to heal. There's a need to forgive yourself and others. And it's partnered here with what? Self-love. This theme that I've been talking about, tied to Gemini or swords, air. Maybe that's why the 3 of Swords is showing up. And then also spiritual growth. So this is a self thing too. Like, so when I'm asking the masculine's higher self about its thoughts on the union or connection as a whole, it's giving me self stuff. It's like I'm not dealing with the union or connection this week. I'm dealing with self, which is what I thought would happen right at the beginning of the reading before I laid any cards. I said, this is what Gemini is about. So this is probably what the reading is going to be about. And boom. Overall, though, positive. The Star, Major Arcana card 17. Happy times. Make positive, optimistic, long-term plans. So you should still look forward. We might be dealing with ourselves this week. We should still look forward long-term. Right? You're on the right path. The Star again represents the sign of Aquarius. Aquarius is, and the Star is about wishes being granted, dreams coming true, reaching goals, being successful, knocking things off the list of stuff you want to do, maybe tied to somehow to a spiritual career through some guidance that you receive, maybe intuitively or through some other like psychic awareness or something, or your gut feelings. You just knew you're meant to be doing this, and so you are. What energy the masculine would have the feminine give to the union or connection if it were up to him? One of communication, it looks like, with the Page of Swords. Logical, honest, impulsive, and curious. Challenging information, delays or changes to plans, and truth delivered without tact. This can also be relating to an actual person, a Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. But it's paired here with card number 33, which is communication. You know, so I think the masculine's higher self is being pretty clear with what he wants. But also, there's a need to let go of the things that are keeping us feeling like we're in hell so that we can experience heaven on earth. And this is what I was talking about too, in terms of life being short and needing to live it, like, you know, to the fullest every single day, and to stop with bullshit like pride and stuff. We got to let go of those kind of negative emotions because they're keeping us in hell. And we have but so much time. Like life, I've said many times on my channel, life is both too long and too short to spend any of it being unhappy. You know, if you say, I live to be 85, right? I'm just throwing that out there. Somebody could say, wow, that's a long time, 85. That's, you know, what a life. But at the same time, it's like, you know, the world goes on for billions and millions and billions of years. So 85 is nothing. And it's like, you could have lived to 90. You could have lived to 100. You could live to be over 100. Some people do. But you got cut off at 85, so you should have done as much as you could by then. So I think that that's what this is about this week. The feminine needing to let go of anything that's keeping her in hell. Resentment, regret, just move on. Just let it go. It's not serving you. It's holding you back. The masculine, what's he bringing to the table? I keep saying this week, but it's this period of the moon. So it's just like 2 weeks. We got the Knight of Cups. Okay, that's positive. He is emotional, romantic, enthusiastic, and contemplative. Falling in love or wedding proposals. The need to balance emotions and an invitation to a social event. And it's paired with card number 71, health, and also tantric union. A lot of orange, a lot of sacral chakra. Blue and orange. He wants to have sex. Wants to have sex this week. He wants to make up. He wants to be good. It's the feminine that's sort of like in a knot, and that's why he wants her to be communicative and open and receptive to him. Let's hope that at least for some of us it actually happens. The Knight of Cups may be a direct water sign in your life. We could have, and I talked about this too. I said, ooh, in the general reading, looks like air and water coming together this week, and now we see it here too. Here's the air on the feminine side. So maybe a female air sign, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, maybe a masculine water sign, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. Not unlike my own situation, Gemini, Scorpio. Could be somebody from your past. Knight of Cups, often representative of somebody that was already in your life or an ex or something for me. And then we also had the Six of Cups here. And what the universe wants to help us with, we have the World. gives me fire energy. A job well done, joy, contentment, and gratitude in the path toward enlightenment. The universe wants us to be done with something. We've come full circle. The cycle is completed. The phase is completed, and wants us to allow that thing to come to an end so that we can move on to the next phase, which is something even better. And speaking of fire, so the world always feels like fire to me. Look what it's paired with. Golden memories. This is the card that's about, for me at least, letting everything but the positive golden memories burn. Let the baggage burn and only take these positive memories with you, or any positive lessons and things like that. Anything that's holding you back, let it go. This card would always remind me of the song by Erykah Badu, Bag Lady. Bag Lady, you're going to hurt your back, dragging all them bags like that. You can't hurry up because you got too much stuff. Like, you can't move on to your next thing because you're just pulling too many things. One day, all them bags going to get in your way. And, you know, these are parts of the song. So it's about letting this thing here go this week. And the outcome, so what's really good, what can really happen? Queen of Wands. Confident, warm, intelligent, and graceful. Stretch your wings and fly. Don't underestimate yourself. Assert your independence and creativity. Queen of Wands is potentially an Aries, Leo, a Sagittarius, or someone likened to those traits or attributes, maybe female and or feminine in archetype. We have it paired with time out. Time out can always be like a person taking a time out on their own, maybe as part of the self-assessment and self-discipline and self-love, or this can be maybe a couple that's trying to figure some stuff out, taking time out to figure some stuff out. And then we have emergence, like rising from the ashes. Again, whether it's you as an individual or it's you as part of a couple, making some sort of comeback, rising from the ashes, having grown, having, follow the guidance and learn from what's available. And then we have, I said, advice from this deck. So let's see what we got. And maybe I'll go ahead and read these from the book too, not just give you the intuitive reading. So for the feminine, we have revelation. All of these have been very theological this week, right? All the cards from this deck. Yes, it's the Magdalena deck, but they don't all have to be like judgment, revelation, like this one for the masculine, illumination. That's a lot lighter to me, in my mind at least. Revelation for the feminine. You will soon find the answer that you seek. Sit quietly. Bring your focus to your breath and meditate. So all the things we've been talking about all night: meditation, self-care, self-love, self-discipline. Pay attention to what you feel in your heart. The answer will surface from within. It's understandable that the current circumstance is creating anxiety and stress in your life. Remember, 10 of Wands. That's the anxiety and stress. Can cause health concerns. It's human nature to want to make sense of everything in our lives. However, don't waste your energy trying to figure out everything logically, for this will only cause further confusion. Trust the loving guidance within you and know that all unfolds in perfect time. All will fall into place over the coming 2 months. So, like I've been saying 2 weeks in terms of the reading, but this is saying 2 months. And actually with something like an eclipse, it really can be months. So that makes sense. All right, illumination for the masculine. Your creativity is blocked at present because you're not expressing how you truly feel. You're not communicating. You want the feminine to do it because you're not. To unblock your creativity, you need to express your feelings. Creativity is first and foremost about self-expression. I mean, this is coming out exactly like I thought it would. Every piece of art, no matter what the subject or style, is a self-portrait. Express everything you feel inside you, good, bad, beautiful, or ugly. Everything is valid, so don't place judgments, remember the card judgment, or restrictions on yourself. Your creativity has no boundaries apart from the boundaries that you place on it. Creativity is the essence of your life, and self-expression is creativity's voice. Self-expression heals and liberates you. It illuminates your mind and heart, and all you need to do is to let your feelings come through. So this is so Gemini. Like, it couldn't even be anymore. You know, I said Gemini was about self-expression, Gemini was about self-love, Gemini was about self-discipline, and we saw it over and over and over again. I hope you guys have enjoyed this new moon in Gemini / annular solar eclipse reading. And I will be back very soon with next week's readings, because the time just keeps going like that and like that. Like I said, life is too short to waste. Namaste.